It was a quiet Saturday afternoon, the kind where sunlight spills lazily across the playground, and the scent of fresh-cut grass drifts in the breeze. Emma, a little girl in a pink hoodie, skipped toward the slide, her laughter echoing softly. The park seemed ordinary, peaceful, until a small rustling sound caught her attention. A tiny trembling puppy appeared at the base of the slide, its fur matted and eyes wide with uncertainty. At first, Emma thought it was just scared, maybe lost. She crouched down, extending a gentle hand, but the puppy froze, its body stiff, ears perked and tail tucked tightly. Then unexpectedly it bolted, not away but straight toward the swings. Emma's heart thumped in her chest. She had never seen a dog act so deliberate. The puppy barked, not in alarm, but almost urgently, circling a particular spot near the sandbox. Emma's mind raced. Was it playing? Or warning? Every instinct inside her screamed that this was no ordinary encounter. She knelt, eyes scanning the playground, feeling a strange warmth mixed with tension. What was this tiny creature trying to tell her? Then the puppy stopped, turned toward Emma, and sat. But the way it looked at her, like it had made a choice, sent a shiver down her spine. Before we continue, remember to like, share, and subscribe for more heart-touching dog stories. And tell me, where are you watching from? The sun hung low over the playground, spilling golden light across the swings and slides. Emma tugged at her pink hoodie, the fabric soft against her small hands, and skipped toward the slide. The scent of freshly cut grass drifted on the breeze, mingling with the faint aroma of snacks from the nearby concession stand. Children's laughter bubbled around her, soft and carefree. Emma's shoes crunched lightly against the gravel path, and for a moment, everything felt ordinary. Quiet. Safe. She climbed the ladder to the top of the slide and paused, letting her fingers brush the cool metal. The slide gleamed in the late afternoon sun. A gentle warmth settled over her shoulders, like a soft hug from the world itself. Then she heard it. A rustling. Small. Deliberate. Coming from the corner of the playground near the sandbox. Emma froze. Her heartbeat picked up, a soft thump against her chest. "Hello," she called, her voice barely above a whisper. The sound stopped. Then came a whimper. Emma's eyes searched the shadows. And there it was. A tiny puppy. Its fur was tangled and dusty. Its ears were tilted back, and its tail tucked close to its body. The little creature trembled as if the wind itself had startled it. Emma crouched slowly, careful not to scare it. "Hey there," she murmured, her voice soft and gentle. "Are you lost?" The puppy didn't move. It stared at her with wide, liquid eyes. Then, just as suddenly, it bolted, not away from her, but toward the swings, weaving carefully around the bases of the slides and benches. Emma's stomach clenched. "He's going somewhere," she whispered, more to herself than anyone else, her curiosity mixed with concern. She followed, stepping lightly over the gravel. The puppy paused, sniffing a patch of dirt near the sandbox, its small body stiff, ears perked. Then it barked once. Sharp but not angry. Urgent. Emma's breath hitched. "What is it, little guy?" she asked, crouching again, closer this time. Her hands hovered just above the ground, as if she could reach out and bridge the space between them. The puppy circled the spot, then trotted a few steps, stopping and looking back at her. The way it looked at her, it was deliberate. Intentional. Like it had made a decision. Emma's heart thudded. She felt a mix of awe and a strange warm tension. Something about the puppy's behavior tugged at her chest, a whisper she couldn't ignore. He sat suddenly, tail curled around his paws. Head tilted, eyes wide, almost pleading. Emma knelt slowly, her fingers brushing a strand of matted fur. She could feel the tiny tremble of his body through the tips of her fingers. Then she noticed the small patch of disturbed dirt near the sandbox. Something was buried there. Something the puppy wanted her to see. Her pulse quickened. She leaned forward slightly, inhaling the mingled scent of soil and fur. The soft warmth of the sunlight on her back made the moment feel unreal, like a dream poised on the edge of discovery. Emma swallowed. Her voice shook just a little. What are you trying to show me?" The puppy barked again, soft, urgent, insistent. And then just like that, he sat back on his haunches and looked straight at her. Not running. Not scared. But chosen. A chill ran down Emma's spine. A mixture of anticipation and awe flooded her chest. She whispered almost to herself, That's when everything finally made sense." The playground hummed with the low chatter of children, the rhythmic squeak of swings, and the occasional bark of a distant dog. Emma's fingers still tingled from brushing the small tremor of the puppy's fur. She crouched, eyes fixed on him, and for the first time, she noticed the subtle way he held himself. He wasn't just nervous. He was alert. Every muscle was coiled, ready. His ears twitched at sounds Emma didn't hear. His tail flicked short, sharp movements, almost like punctuation marks of attention. His eyes scanned the sandbox, then the bushes lining the edge of the playground, before returning to her. Emma's curiosity deepened. "Are you looking for something?" she whispered, her voice barely carrying over the swing's squeak. The puppy barked once. Short, insistent, then darted a few steps toward the corner by the slide, pausing as if he expected her to follow. Emma's heart beat faster. She obeyed, stepping lightly over the gravel. The sun painted long shadows across the playground, stretching toward them as if to guide her path. He stopped abruptly near a cluster of fallen leaves. His body stiffened, tail low, eyes fixed on a specific spot near the sandbox. Emma knelt slowly, her hands brushing the ground, but she didn't touch it yet. The puppy circled the spot once, then barked again, quiet, urgent. Emma's stomach twisted. Her mind raced. Was it a lost toy? Or something more? "Okay," she said softly. "I'm here. Show me." The puppy's nose dipped close to the dirt, sniffing. He stepped back, then pawed at the ground lightly. The motion was deliberate, precise. Not playful. Not random. Emma noticed the small mound of earth disturbed, a few scattered crumbs of sand clinging to the grass. Her pulse quickened. She bent closer, fingers hovering just above the soil. She could hear the faint sound of dirt shifting under the puppy's paws. She could feel the warmth radiating from his small body, the quiet insistence in his gaze. Then he looked at her. Head cocked. Eyes wide. Waited. Emma exhaled slowly. "You want me to dig?" The puppy barked again, softer this time, and circled the spot once more. He lowered his body slightly, ears forward, posture rigid. He wasn't just guiding her. He was communicating. Emma's hands trembled slightly as she reached for the dirt, moving it with careful, slow motions. The puppy sat beside her, still alert, occasionally sniffing the air or scanning the playground. His instincts were precise, almost human in their intent. He wasn't afraid. He was focused, protective. A soft breeze rustled the leaves above, carrying the faint scent of something hidden beneath the soil. Emma's fingers brushed something hard. She paused. Heart thumping. The puppy barked again, shorter, excited this time. Emma's mind raced. Oh, I see it. Carefully, she dug around the small mound. A patchwork of color peeked through, perhaps a piece of fabric or a small toy. The puppy leaned in, sniffing, tail wagging slightly now, as if confirming her discovery. Emma held it gently in her hands, brushing off the dirt. Her chest swelled with warmth, a mix of relief and awe. The puppy nudged her hand with his nose, soft, deliberate. His choice had led her here. His instincts had guided her. Emma whispered almost reverently, You knew." The puppy barked once more, a short, satisfied sound. He circled her again, then sat, tail curled neatly around his paws, eyes locked on her face. Emma felt it. A connection deep and immediate. The kind of understanding that didn't need words. Something important had passed between them. Something unspoken, intuitive. She stroked his fur gently, feeling the tension drain from his tiny body. The world seemed softer. The playground quieter. And for a single golden moment, nothing else existed but the bond forming between them. The puppy tilted his head toward her, almost as if to say, "This is just the beginning." Emma smiled softly, heart still racing. I think we're going to be okay," she said. And for the first time, She realized the ordinary afternoon had already begun to change into something extraordinary. Emma backed up slightly, holding the patch of colorful fabric in her small hands. The puppy sat a few feet away, ears tilted forward, tail low but still flicking now and then. He stared at her with the same intent she had noticed before. She swallowed, heart hammering softly. The afternoon sunlight cast long shadows across the sandbox, stretching toward them like fingers. Emma wasn't sure what to do next. Her mind raced, spinning possibilities. Was it just a toy the puppy wanted her to notice? Or something more serious? I don't know, she whispered, more to herself than anyone else. Maybe it's nothing. The puppy barked. Short. Insistent. Not loud, not scary. But urgent. Emma flinched slightly at the sound. She stepped closer, crouching again, but her hand hesitated above the small mound of dirt nearby. She paused. Are you trying to tell me something else? She asked softly. The puppy barked again, then darted a few steps to the left, sniffing at the base of the slide. His movements were deliberate, precise, almost as if he were saying, over here. Look closer. Emma tilted her head, confused. I don't understand. He barked once more, pacing in a small circle. Then stopped abruptly, ears high, body tense, staring at a patch of ground near the sandbox that she hadn't examined closely before. His tail flicked sharply, rapid, urgent. Emma bit her lip. Maybe I should just leave it, she murmured. Doubt clouded her mind. Her small hands tightened around the fabric, unsure. The puppy whimpered softly, nudging a stray leaf toward the ground with his nose. Her heart skipped. Okay, she whispered, finally kneeling down. I'll look. She bent over slowly, brushing leaves aside. The puppy sat beside her, his body taut, ears forward, eyes flicking between her hands and the ground. Emma noticed the little tremble in his shoulders. He wasn't scared, not really, but focused. Protective. Insistent. Emma's fingers scraped gently at the dirt, uncovering a tiny shape buried beneath. She gasped softly. Her mind couldn't process it instantly. It was small, fragile, something that needed her. And the puppy, he had led her here. She looked at him, eyes wide. You knew. You wanted me to find this. The puppy barked softly, a short, approving sound. Then, as if satisfied, he circled her once and sat back down. Tail curled neatly around his paws. His gaze never left hers. Emma felt a lump in her throat. She had misread him. Thought he was just being playful. Thought it was all random. But his instincts, they had been guiding her all along. Her fingers trembled slightly as she held the small object in her hands. The weight of it, small, delicate, pressed on her sense of responsibility. She exhaled slowly, feeling a strange warmth rising in her chest. The puppy nudged her hand again, softly this time, almost tenderly. Emma smiled through the rising emotion. I should have listened sooner, she whispered. I should have trusted you. He barked once more, small and soft, as if acknowledging her apology. Then he leaned back slightly, tilting his head, tail flicking in subtle excitement. Emma felt a new sense of clarity. This was no ordinary puppy. His behavior was deliberate, purposeful, protective, attentive, and he had chosen her. Not the playground. Not anyone else. Her. A gentle breeze rustled through the leaves, carrying the faint scent of dirt, grass, and the faint warmth of the puppy's fur. Emma breathed it in, savoring the moment, letting the tension drain slowly from her shoulders. For the first time she felt the depth of their connection. His instincts, her hesitation, the quiet urgency of the afternoon. It all made sense now. Emma spoke softly, almost reverently. I get it now. You've been trying to show me something important. And I almost missed it. The puppy barked softly again, and this time Emma understood. He wasn't just a guide. He was a protector, a teacher, a friend. She smiled, brushing her fingers along his fur. All right, she whispered. Let's see this through together. The world felt warmer, quieter, more intentional. The ordinary afternoon had shifted. Something extraordinary was unfolding, one small, deliberate paw step at a time. The sun had begun its slow descent, casting long golden slants of light across the playground. Emma's small hand still rested on the patch of dirt she had uncovered. The puppy sat a few feet away, ears upright, tail flicking in short, deliberate movements. His eyes, bright and intense, never left the spot. Emma felt her heartbeat quicken. She knew the puppy was urging her to do more, to look closer, but uncertainty gnawed at her. Could she really trust his instincts? The puppy barked softly, short, insistent. Then he padded a few steps away, circling again, sniffing the ground meticulously. His body language was precise, tense but controlled, like a tiny sentinel guiding her every move. Emma rose slowly, brushing her fingers along the dirt. Okay, she whispered. Show me what you want me to do. He barked again, quick and urgent, and nudged a small stick toward the mound with his nose. Then he stepped back, eyes locked on her, tail held low but flicking in rapid pulses. It was as if he were saying, dig here. Carefully. Don't stop. Emma knelt again, her fingers moving with more purpose this time. She dug gently, brushing away dirt, leaves, and a few stray pebbles. The puppy's posture shifted with every movement. He leaned slightly forward, ears twitching at the faintest sounds of the playground around them. He sniffed constantly, occasionally pawing the ground lightly, a soft, precise motion. A few children ran past, their laughter ringing across the park. Emma barely noticed. The puppy stiffened at every sound, alert but calm. His instincts guided her, steadying her when doubt crept in. Minutes passed, though it felt longer. Emma's hands trembled, her fingers brushing something hard beneath the soil. She paused. The puppy barked softly, a single encouraging note. Tail flicking once, twice. Eyes bright. Emma exhaled slowly. I see it, she murmured. Carefully, she cleared the remaining dirt. A small object emerged. Emma held it up, brushing away the last of the sand. Her chest swelled with relief and awe. The puppy barked again, short and approving, then circled her once before sitting, posture relaxed but attentive. Emma looked at him, eyes wide. You kept trying to show me. Over and over. The puppy tilted his head, nose brushing her hand, small whiskers twitching. He barked softly again, tail flicking in a rhythmic, satisfied motion. Emma felt the bond between them deepen with every subtle cue, every precise movement. She looked down at the object in her hands. It was a small, delicate item, maybe lost for days, perhaps important to someone. The puppy's behavior had guided her perfectly. Emma felt a lump rise in her throat. I almost missed it, she whispered. I almost didn't listen. The puppy barked softly, circling her again. She noticed the little tremble of his shoulders, the subtle rise and fall of his chest. Protective. Alert. Loyal. Emma rose slowly, holding the item carefully. She looked around the playground. Children played, oblivious. Parents chatted nearby. But for Emma, the world had narrowed to the patch of dirt, the tiny puppy, and the extraordinary task he had set before her. She crouched down again, brushing a strand of fur from his small head. Thank you, she murmured, voice soft but full of emotion. Thank you for guiding me, for trusting me to follow. The puppy nudged her hand gently, tail flicking once. He sat back, ears upright, watching her. Emma felt the tension drain slowly from her chest. The bond between them was unspoken but unmistakable. For a moment, the playground felt suspended in time. Warm light, soft rustling leaves, and the quiet presence of a tiny, intuitive protector filled every corner. Emma realized the afternoon had changed completely. The ordinary had turned extraordinary, and she had followed step by step, paw by paw, guided by a tiny heart brimming with loyalty. Emma's fingers trembled slightly as she cleared the final layer of dirt. The tiny mound of sand and leaves that had seemed ordinary at first now held a secret. The puppy sat nearby, tail curled neatly, ears upright, watching every move with intent. Her breath caught as she brushed away a few more flecks of soil. Beneath them, a small object emerged. A tiny worn stuffed animal. Its seams were frayed, and one button eye had come loose. Emma's chest tightened. She recognized it immediately. It looked like the same toy her neighbor had mentioned missing just days ago. The puppy barked softly, almost joyfully, nudging the toy with his nose toward her. Tail wagging in precise, careful beats, he stepped back, eyes gleaming as if to say, "See? I told you. I knew." Emma knelt fully now, holding the toy close to her chest. Her heart swelled with warmth, a mixture of relief and wonder. "Oh, it's here," she whispered. "It's really here." The puppy barked again, a short, approving note, and nudged her hand with his wet nose. Emma laughed softly, tears pricking the corners of her eyes. You found it. You led me right to it." The playground seemed to hum around them. The distant laughter of children, the gentle creak of swings, the soft rustle of leaves in the late afternoon breeze, all became a soundtrack to this quiet miracle. Emma noticed the puppy's body relax slightly, his tense posture easing as if he had completed his mission. She hugged the toy close, inhaling the faint scent of fabric and childhood memories. The puppy sat beside her, still alert but calm now, ears flicking at every tiny sound. His eyes met hers, full of trust and pride. Emma whispered, "I almost didn't listen. I almost walked away." She brushed a strand of fur from the puppy's head. "But you never gave up. You knew I would follow you." He barked softly once more, circling her in a small loop before sitting again. His tail flicked once, twice. The sun dipped lower, golden rays stretching across the playground, painting everything in soft, warm light. Emma felt the weight of the moment sink in. This tiny, determined creature had guided her to something meaningful, something lost, something that mattered. She rose slowly, still holding the toy, and looked at the puppy. "You've got instincts I can only dream of," she murmured. "You were brave and patient and kind." The puppy leaned into her hand, pressing his small head against her palm. Emma smiled through her tears. "Thank you," she said softly. "Thank you for showing me how to pay attention, to trust, to care." For the first time that afternoon, Emma felt the extraordinary weight of gratitude. The puppy had done more than lead her to a lost toy. He had shown her patience, intuition, and the quiet power of small, deliberate acts of love. She knelt once more, pressing the toy against her chest, and looked around the playground. Children played, oblivious, but for Emma everything had changed. A small, ordinary corner of the world had become a place of wonder. The puppy barked softly, nudging her hand. Tail wagging lightly, Emma felt a warm, unspoken promise in that little movement. "We are a team now." And she knew it was true. The sun dipped lower, shadows stretching, and the quiet magic of the moment wrapped around them like a soft, golden blanket. Emma hugged the toy a little closer and whispered, "We'll take care of this together." The puppy tilted his head, ears flicking, eyes bright. And for the first time, the ordinary afternoon felt like a beginning, not just an ending. Emma hugged the tiny, worn toy closer to her chest. The puppy sat beside her, ears upright, tail flicking softly, alert but calm. He had guided her to this moment, and now he seemed to watch her every move, as if ensuring that nothing went wrong. Emma glanced around the playground. A few children ran past, chasing one another, their laughter bright and carefree. But for Emma, the world had narrowed to this small corner of sand, a lost toy and a tiny, determined puppy who had led her here with quiet patience. Her neighbor, a kind-faced woman with gentle eyes, spotted her from across the park. "Emma, is that?" She hurried over, her voice laced with concern and hope. Emma held out the toy. "I found it," she said softly, smiling through the warm flutter of relief in her chest. "Thanks to him." She nodded toward the puppy, who barked softly, ears tilting forward, tail flicking in precise, approving beats. The neighbor knelt beside Emma, eyes glistening. "You found it. You really found it." "Oh, thank you, little one," she said, bending to gently stroke the puppy's head. The dog leaned into her touch, but his eyes never left Emma, small tail wagging in a calm, deliberate rhythm. Protective. Loyal. Emma felt a rush of warmth. The puppy had led her here. He had guided her hands, his instincts unwavering. She reached out, gently rubbing his back. "You saved the day," she whispered. Her voice caught slightly. You really did. The puppy barked softly, a small triumphant sound. He stepped closer, nudging Emma's hand with his nose, as if sharing in the victory. Emma laughed softly, a sound that mingled with the faint rustle of leaves and the distant chatter of children. Her neighbor took the toy from Emma's hands, hugging it to her chest. I don't know how to thank you, she murmured, eyes glistening with emotion. You found it. I thought it was gone forever. She turned to the puppy, scratching behind his ears. And you, little hero, you brought her here. The puppy barked again, small and soft, leaning into Emma's palm. She felt a lump rise in her throat. His eyes were bright, full of trust and pride. He hadn't sought reward or attention. He had simply acted. Guided. Protected. Emma knelt beside him, hugging him gently. I almost didn't follow you, she whispered. But you knew. You knew I would. The puppy leaned closer, pressing his small head into her chest, tail flicking once. A gentle breeze rustled through the playground, carrying the scent of grass, earth, and the faint warmth of his fur. Emma closed her eyes, letting the moment sink in. Her neighbor smiled at her. You've got a special little friend there, Emma. He chose you for a reason. Emma nodded slowly, feeling a deep sense of connection. The puppy had not just led her to a toy. He had shown her courage, patience, and the quiet power of loyalty. She whispered, We make a good team, don't we? The puppy barked softly, as if agreeing. He nudged her hand again, tail flicking in a rhythmic, comforting motion. Emma hugged him closer, feeling the warmth of his tiny body against hers. For a few moments, everything was quiet. Ordinary sounds of the playground drifted around them, but Emma felt as if the world had narrowed to this small, perfect bubble of trust and companionship. She glanced at the puppy, eyes brimming with affection. Thank you, she said softly, for trusting me, for guiding me, for everything. The puppy leaned into her hand again, nudging her gently. And in that quiet, golden moment, Emma realized something extraordinary. He hadn't just helped her find a lost toy. He had rescued her too, from doubt, hesitation, and the ordinary rhythm of the afternoon. He had shown her the extraordinary in the everyday. And Emma knew without a doubt that their bond had grown unbreakable that day. The sun had begun its slow descent, painting the playground in soft amber light. Emma sat on the edge of the sandbox, gently brushing the puppy's fur with her small hands. His body was relaxed now, ears perked but calm, tail swaying gently in contentment. The tension of the earlier search had melted away, replaced by a quiet, comforting rhythm. Emma inhaled the warm scent of earth and fur. The toy she had found sat safely beside her, a small testament to the extraordinary events of the afternoon. The puppy nudged her hand softly, and she smiled, feeling a steady warmth spread through her chest. You were amazing, she whispered. So patient, so careful. He leaned into her touch, tail flicking in small, deliberate movements. Emma noticed the subtle shifts in his body language, the gentle rise and fall of his chest, the soft twitch of his ears, the way he shifted slightly closer, seeking the quiet comfort of her presence. The playground was mostly empty now. The distant laughter of children had faded into soft murmurs, and the gentle rustling of leaves carried on the breeze. Emma felt a sense of calm settle over her. She reached down, holding the puppy close against her chest. You know, she murmured, I think you were scared too in your own way. But you trusted me. You let me follow you. He barked softly, a single note, and nudged her hand with his nose. It was a small, comforting gesture, almost tender. Emma smiled, eyes glistening with the quiet joy of connection. She took a deep breath, letting the warmth of the late afternoon sun soak into her shoulders. I think we both needed this, she whispered. You to trust me, and me to trust you. The puppy leaned closer, pressing his tiny body against hers. Emma noticed the way his paws relaxed, how his tail curled loosely now, no longer tense but resting comfortably. He was healed in a way too, no longer anxious, no longer insistent, simply present. Emma brushed her fingers through his soft fur, feeling each tiny movement, each subtle signal of trust and contentment. We've both been through something, she said softly. And I think we're better for it. She glanced down at the toy, still nestled beside her. It wasn't just a lost item recovered. It was a symbol of the journey they had shared. The puppy had led her, guided her, protected her. And now, sitting together in the quiet of the playground, Emma felt the full weight of their bond. The gentle evening breeze carried the faint scent of grass, soil, and warm fur. Emma exhaled slowly, letting the calm wash over her. She stroked the puppy's head, feeling the steady heartbeat beneath her fingers. "You're more than just a little dog," she whispered, voice soft but full of emotion. "You're a friend, a guide, a protector." The puppy tilted his head, ears flicking slightly, eyes shining with trust. Tail flicked once, twice, a small comforting rhythm. Emma smiled, tears glinting in the golden light. For the first time that day, everything felt right. The tension, the uncertainty, the tiny pulses of fear, all had given way to warmth, trust, and healing. Emma hugged the puppy a little closer, feeling the steady, gentle rhythm of his breathing against her chest. And she knew deep in her heart that this was only the beginning. Their bond had grown stronger, softer, and more unbreakable with every small, deliberate act of trust. Emma whispered again, almost to herself, "We'll face everything together, won't we?" The puppy barked softly, nudging her hand once more. And in that quiet, golden moment, the healing was complete. Both human and dog had found something they hadn't known they were missing: patience, trust, and the comforting presence of a loyal companion. The playground, bathed in the fading light, seemed to hold its breath around them, honoring the small, extraordinary connection forming in the quiet afternoon. Emma sat back, resting her head against the puppy's, letting the calm of the moment wash over her. The sun had dipped low, leaving the playground bathed in soft, golden twilight. Shadows stretched across the sand in swings, wrapping everything in a gentle, peaceful quiet. Emma sat cross-legged on the edge of the sandbox, the tiny puppy curled against her side, his small body warm and steady. The toy rested beside them, a simple, worn object now transformed into a symbol of everything they had shared that afternoon. Emma ran her fingers gently along the puppy's soft fur, feeling each subtle movement, the gentle rise and fall of his chest, the occasional flick of his ears, the quiet rhythm of his tail. "You know," she whispered softly, "we make a really good team." The puppy nudged her hand with his nose, a soft, approving gesture. He pressed his tiny head closer to her chest, tail curling around his paws in contentment. Emma felt the full weight of the bond they had formed, delicate, profound, unspoken, yet stronger than anything words could convey. She leaned back slightly, letting the cool evening breeze wash over them. The distant sounds of the playground, a swing squeaking, a faint call of a parent, drifted around them. But Emma's world had narrowed to this quiet, golden bubble of connection, trust, and love. "Today you showed me something important," she murmured. "You showed me how to notice, how to trust, how to care, even when I wasn't sure." The puppy barked softly, tail flicking, eyes bright. It was a small sound, yet it carried weight, agreement, understanding, affirmation. Emma smiled, eyes glistening with quiet tears. "You picked me," she whispered, stroking his head. "Not the playground, not anyone else. You chose me." He leaned into her hand, nudging her gently again. Emma laughed softly, a sound mingled with wonder and gratitude. "And I chose you too," she said, voice low, almost reverent. "I promise I'll always notice. I'll always trust. I'll always care for you." The puppy shifted slightly, pressing his head closer, a tiny warmth against her heart. Emma let the quiet stretch, savoring the soft intimacy of the moment. She thought of the morning sun, the rustling leaves, the tiny mound of dirt that had held a secret. She thought of the soft urgency in his eyes, the way he had guided her every step, and she realized something profound. Bonds like these, the kind that are unspoken, intuitive, loyal, are rare, precious, life-changing. Emma whispered into the warm twilight. "It doesn't matter what happens. We'll face everything together, and we'll always trust each other." The puppy barked once more, a short, joyful note, tail flicking in precise rhythm. He nudged her hand, leaning into her warmth. Emma smiled, feeling a deep, almost spiritual sense of connection wash over her. She watched as the last rays of the sun melted behind the trees, painting everything in amber and gold. And she truly knew, that this little devoted creature had left a permanent mark on her heart. The world felt softer, brighter, warmer. Ordinary moments had turned extraordinary through patience, instinct, and trust. Emma hugged the puppy close, feeling the quiet heartbeat of her tiny friend against her own. "You've changed my world," she whispered. "And I'll never forget it. I promise." The puppy pressed his head against hers, a small comforting nudge. Tail flicking once slowly, softly. Emma exhaled, letting the warmth fill her chest. And in the fading light, surrounded by the gentle hush of the playground, Emma understood the truth. The bond between a human and a dog is unbreakable. Protective, loyal, intuitive. Quiet yet profound. She smiled softly, closing her eyes. "Thank you," she whispered, "for trusting me, for choosing me, for being you." The puppy barked softly, tail flicking in gentle rhythm. And Emma knew, as long as they had each other, the world, no matter how ordinary, would always feel extraordinary. The playground, bathed in twilight, held its breath around them, honoring the small, powerful miracle of trust, intuition, and love.